It's 10 o'clock Mountain Time. It's Thursday, March 11th, 2021. And we want to welcome you to Tom and Shane's podcast. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Happy to have you along with us. Tom Eaglehoff in Mile High City of Bozeman, Montana, up in the mountains. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing, is my co-host, and he's in Vancouver, British Columbia. And we are happy to have you here with us today. Hey, don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell, and like us. That helps support our channel and helps you continue to keep these podcasts rolling. Today, Shane, we're going to talk about how to do a SWOT analysis. And SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So we're gonna try to cover all of those today as we go along. So
yeah, it's a great approach to looking at your business, doing it often, at least quarterly, and it should get you excited because it sort of has that military sort of sound to it, like a SWAT team. But having said that, the most important objective here is the weaknesses and the opportunities, because those are the two areas that will help promote and expand either your growth or increase your sales.
That's right. Yeah. It should be done regularly, at least twice a year. Quarterly, as Shane pointed out, is probably the best. But it's very important that you do this, because so many of us don't take the time to look at our business objectively. And it's hard to do sometimes. Look at your business and see the warts and the wrinkles and, the things that are in there. So let's rock and roll here with strengths first. That's the important part. And that is what you do best. Obviously, there are strengths in all kinds of businesses. Shane was in the restaurant business for many years, as well as other businesses. So what might be some of the strengths of a restaurant business, Shane?
Well, in the case, a great standardized case historically is Outback Steakhouses. They have over 1,000 stores. They have $3.3 billion in revenue. And one of their great strengths was a very short menu, just steaks. And while they had several types of appetizers, they became famous for their onion, their bloomin' onion, which they developed a specific cutter, cut it in the middle, opened it up, dipped it, deep fried it, put it on a plate with some dip on your table. There in 3 minutes when you sit down, because everyone ordered them, and then gave the staff time for them to get their order for their table. The second thing of strengths for Outback, which was remarkable, was the impact on the meat industry in the United States. Because they grew so quickly and because they consumed so much beef, they actually drove the price of steaks up or beef up in the United States, because they served them all. They served New Yorks, they served tenderloin, they served filet, they served top sirloin, and all the major cuts, the ribeye. So that separated them from everybody else, including even the smaller regional steakhouses. And then finally, the great thing is management figured out that they wanted to build as many of these restaurants across the country as they could. So they didn't have the capital, because they'd start out with 8 in Florida and grew to 1,000. But what they came up with was this great idea. They would go to investors and they'd say, okay, we have a standardized deal here, certain amount of square feet. We'll find the property, either buy it in a parking lot of a major shopping mall or on the street next to other fast food restaurants. But you put up the money and you pay the cost to build it. And here's our deal. After 1 year of operation, we will convert your ownership in that restaurant to stock in Outback. Huge, huge success. They built over 600 restaurants as a result of that. It drove the price of the stock right through the roof. They took it back private in 2012, and their success continued, and so did their growth. So in 2015, they went public again and raised more money. So huge strengths if you have great success. As I've said before, you can make a lot of money in the restaurant business, but you can lose a lot more than you can make. Not in the case of Outback. Right time, right place.
Well, that's for sure. Some other things I was thinking, there's two strengths or weaknesses you might have. One is parking, and the other one is location of
Correct.
your restaurant and things like that. So,
Yeah.
the thing about strengths and opportunities, or I'm sorry, strengths and weaknesses, is that in most cases, those are things that you can control. Both of those are within your four walls in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to weaknesses, because that, as I mentioned earlier, is those are things that you can control. For example, you might need a bigger delivery vehicle, but the budget just won't do that right now. So it's a temporary weakness, and most weaknesses are temporary. If you know what the weakness is, obviously you can do something about it. You can work toward making it a strength.
Yes, and one of the most amazing and acknowledged weaknesses in the United States in industry is in the food industry. They actually have a financial representation for not loss of sales, but for theft, shoplifting, and they account for generally around 12 to 15%, depending on whether it's food or clothing. Incredible thing about it is 4 to 5% is from staff. So it as a weakness, through the 80s and 90s and then into the 2000s, a lot of technology has helped help reduce this now to around 8 to 12%, which is a big change on your bottom line, and a weakness you can overcome with small cameras everywhere in the stores. So there you go. That's a weakness that they picked up, they analyzed, and they figured out a solution to it.
Yeah, I was in Walmart the other day, standing in the self-service line, and above where you walk into the self-service area, they've got a big screen TV, and it shows the people who are, doing the self-serve, and it's got little squares identifying their face. It's showing what they're scanning stuff. It shows what they put in the bag. Whether or not that records everything or not, or whether it's just a deterrent to.
Yeah, I mean, we all know the stories of the cameras in the casinos in Las Vegas, every other major, casino town, and nobody ever put up a bug about that. I mean, that goes back to the '60s where they were using super cameras with film, right? Like, so
I
anyway,
know.
the point is you got to look for weaknesses and cover them. The same you do at home. If you have weakness in the security in your home, you'll cover it. And with the technology that they have today, where you can turn your smartphone on and pick up the camera at home when you're out at the movie to make sure that nobody's bothering your home, it's impressive, and it works.
It really is. Going out your front door and expecting to be in private. Or have privacy anymore. That's gone. Those days are over.
It's over, baby.
Not gonna happen. So that may be your own weakness. So
the only camera anyone may not know about is in the teddy bear, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Everyone knows they're there. Yeah.
And we know that your TV set is watching you. So
they're listening, Tom.
They're listening, they're watching. So by all means.
Now, another weakness that you want to look at is costs, particularly if you're in the food business, and certainly in the garment business. And the reason I say this is if you're having a success of sales, this is something you want to prepare for. So you always want to put in that original contract in purchasing anything, food, clothing, whatever it is that you might sell, with the seller, that an increased purchase results in a reduction overall of the cost. So that as you're growing and you're ordering more, yes, you'll have to pay more, but not pay as much. So I always anticipate success in the future, because it'll become a big weakness later. Being successful could cost you more money. and create more of an inventory and a capital need if you don't negotiate beforehand. So one thing that people will, sometimes it's hard with food, but it can work. But certainly with clothing and that type of goods. The other thing too is always work towards getting whatever you can sell on consignment. If you don't have to pay for it, and they're willing to put it in your, a lot of a lot of businesses that are in office equipment, all that stuff, in all the furniture and a lot of everything they have, from pencils to envelopes, is all on consignment, and they don't pay for it till they sell it. So the same with Walmart, Costco, the big box stores. The more expensive products they carry are all on consignment. All their refrigerators, stoves, furniture, anything of large size that costs, they are not going to put any capital up to put it in their store.
Yeah. Another
Neither
weakness,
should you.
another weakness to look at in the restaurant business, you have to turn a certain number of seats in your dinner hour or your lunch hour, breakfast, whatever. And if you're not
Mhm.
turning enough seats, looking at that as a weakness, then you have you have a challenge ahead of you. How am I going to increase the turnover or increase the, either I'm going to have to raise the prices of the food, or I'm going to have to turn those chairs faster. So you're looking
That's
at
right. Very different.
two different ways of tackling that particular challenge.
Sales. The difference between retail products and restaurant food is, if you don't have the customers that night, you'll never make up for it.
Yeah.
Retail products that you sell, if you didn't have that customer come in today, tomorrow he'll come in and buy, and that's still, you'll make up for it.
Mhm.
And but if a restaurateur has a guy come in or not come in tonight, and 2 days later come in, that's only good for the night he came in.
Yeah.
You needed him to come in as well 2 nights ago.
That's for
So
sure.
a lot of restaurants may or may not only be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but maybe just dinner. They don't serve breakfast or lunch.
That's true. Yeah, and the for a retail business, you might look at the number of sales you have per day. Can you increase the number of sales somehow?
Hmm.
One of the great thing about big box stores that sold electronics, they always sold the extended warranty. So that was a way to capitalize on extra money, um, because they competed, with other stores. So, all right,
Yeah.
before we move on, I want to talk to you about StreamYard. That's what we use here to use this broadcast or put this broadcast on. If you like the way it looks, it's pretty nice little program that you can use. I can do all kinds of things with it. For example, I can put a screenshot up. I can put Shane and I with that screenshot, and whatever. So yeah, we
And
can
we can
do
have a
all of
third
that.
screen, so you can be interviewed and talk about
Yeah.
your business and participate
Mhm.
directly in the show. That's a really great opportunity, particularly if
Mhm.
somebody who's starting a new company. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with StreamYard, the free version, you can have up to 6 guests, and that's pretty cool. And you can do a lot of things. You can't do everything that we're doing here with the free version, but I would recommend that you try the free version, get familiar with it, find out how it works, and maybe you can do a test as well. You don't have to go live. You can do a test and look at it, see how it works for you, and put it all together. And we can change back and forth. Pretty Pretty cool little program. So yeah, it's pretty nice to use. So we highly recommend it, and we'll put the link to StreamYard in the description below, and we hope that you will take a look at it. And because there's big bucks to be made on YouTube, there is. Boy, if you have a something that people want to hear or like to hear, man, you can do well. So
That's right. And,
that's what.
and another opportunity in regards to StreamYard that Tom has come up with is being able to provide advertising to our people that we're helping, and you can come and he'll explain to you how to
Mhm.
um, provide with a monthly fee. You titling on our show, interview on our show. We even do a video from your show. So this is a great opportunity at very low cost for you to advertise globally on the internet. How cool is that? It's something you could then utilize later in your own planning for advertising.
Yeah. Shane's talking about Patreon. So
That's what I'm talking about.
that would be it. So, all right, let's move on because we've got a couple more things we've got to talk about. The next one that we've got to hit on is, of course, opportunities. And what opportunities? One thing I can almost guarantee you, if an opportunity presents itself to a small business, you won't have the money to do it. You're going to have to pass on that opportunity. So another piece of advice is keep something in reserve. Everybody, or not everybody, but many businesses pack 100% of their profits back into the business, and you really need to have that little slush fund out there in case a sale comes along on equipment, or there's some kind of a deal that will improve your business, or add a benefit in some way. So opportunities are going to present themselves, so by all means, you need to be ready when they do.
That's right. Another opportunity, particularly if you're in apparel or some type of specific clothing that you're selling in your store, is get in touch with insurance companies for big shipping companies, the 18-wheeler shipping companies. It's a great opportunity if there's a bad situation where one of these 18-wheelers has an accident. It's all covered by insurance, 100%. So they will literally sell the load at a deep discount to the highest bidder, literally, like at the side of the road. And sounds funny, but I had a buddy that was mine in high school, and that's what his father did. He literally flew around the country, and he would put bids in, and he knew how to bid on stuff. And he filled a 50,000 square warehouse, turned into a store in downtown Denver with all this stuff, from Nike shoes to anything else you can imagine, razors, everything. Like at a 10% cost, because it was just such a profit for him. But you can do the same thing. And as Tom is saying, if you keep a side bundle for this type of situation, 80% of everything delivered to Americans to consume is done so with an 18-wheeler. You'd be surprised how many loads are out there that the insurance company's happy to sell to get it off the road because they've already paid for the replacement.
Yep, that's true. The other thing to think about too, business interruption insurance is another thing. Talk to your insurance dealer about that, because if your insurance or if your business is interrupted because of maybe heavy snow, or a gas leak in the neighborhood, or something like that shuts your business down, you can recoup some of that loss through your business interruption insurance. So give that some thought as you're going along with your other protections of your business. So a lot of opportunities out there, and you never know when they're going to show up, and that's the that's the interesting thing. Let's see from.
There, that's the Scouts marching song.
That's right. Be prepared. Bruce says, with my lawn care business, I only have 40 hours a week to mow, so I schedule lawns that are closest to each other to shorten the time driving, more time mowing, using a zero turn instead of a rider to optimize time. I save 30% more time on a zero turn. Also allows me to put different patterns in the lawn to improve the health and look of the lawn. So great advice, Bruce. Thanks for that comment. And that's what we're talking about, that travel between jobs can be a weakness. So Bruce is on the money right there when he says schedule those jobs so they're close together. One of my first jobs, I worked for a sewer pipe company, and my job was routing trucks. And For some reason, and I was new. So, when you're new, you don't question people that have been doing this forever. But in this case, I had to, because I'm thinking they always went to the furthest place first and then worked their way back to the company. And I'm thinking, you're going the furthest distance with a full load. How much gas are you using? Wouldn't it be better to go to the last stop and drive all the way back to the company empty? Wouldn't wouldn't that save some money, some gas or whatever? And they said, gee, we never thought of that. So, you know, a weakness, we turned it into a strength. We saved some money and we reversed how it had been done for a number of years. So that's how. Um, the important thing about this little story is that I was an employee. So sometimes your employees are going to see things and they're going to question them, but they might not question you because you're the owner and you've been doing this and you know more than they do. But hey, solicit some help from your employees every once in a while on what are we doing wrong, or what's our weaknesses? How can we make this business stronger? So listen to your
That's right.
employees, because
The most important opportunity that you're always looking for in any business is time management. How well does the staff adjust to time management and get things done quickly? One of the most important features in a restaurant is the people at the front of the restaurant. And one of the most important opportunities that I always saw to was making sure that everyone went to the kitchen with their hands full. We know they come out with plates stacked to serve people food, but the trip to the kitchen is just as important with all those empty plates or glassware. So it's always time management, like the gentleman mentioned about the type of mower he uses, or Tom talks about utilizing the right direction in deliveries to succeed at great time management, particularly traffic. If you start off early in the morning, early, I mean like 5 o'clock, you'll find obviously for an hour and a half, you have less traffic, and you pick an area that there are a lot of places you're going to close that you travel to or through, be with significant traffic, because that's actually saving you time. So time management is always something you want to look at under opportunities all the time. Oh, excuse the pun.
yeah, that's for sure. Well, our last item, and probably the one that will give you the most trouble, and you, in many cases, you have no control over it all. Of course, we're talking about threats, threats to your business. Could be all kinds of things. It could be one threat might be if there's a negative story about your industry, in the news, causes cancer, or like cell phones, brain damage, and cause cancer of the ears or whatever. So you're going to have to be prepared to overcome these threats. Maybe you're going to lose your loading zone. The city commission says too much traffic there, so your loading zone's going away. Or it could be they raise the minimum wage in your city, and you're going to have to let an employee go. So there's all kinds of threats to your business.
One of the biggest threats, of course, and we've talked a bit about it, is weather. But it depends on where you live and how far north or south you are on the continent, because wintertime, it's a harsh time. So consider different hours in the winter. I always have signs up and say, say from October 1st till March 1st, your hours are different, so that people know that you're there, you're open, but because of the potential for weather issues, you're not always open on snow days, so to speak. On the reverse side of that, take advantage of the summer and the late nights that the sun is up and families are out. A lot of families are out and they go out late to eat, or they go to the park late. And you might think about, on specific days, just specific ones, Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or maybe Sunday, not likely, but being open later, being open till 9 o'clock or 10. That's what the big box stores do. So I always take advantage of these type of threats that you have no control over and turn them into a positive. It's nice being positive on a hot summer night. You can get sweaty making lots of sales.
Yes, you can. And big box stores, a lot of them are open 24 hours, not because of you, but because they are in there stacking the shelves and replenishing supplies. So, that's a great thing. If you do need marmalade in the middle of the night, you can go down and get it. So it's not bad. So a good thing to do there. So let's see, Shane. Whoops, don't want to go there yet. Let's go here first. So we've kind of reviewed these things again. Strengths and weaknesses, pretty much under your control. Try and make your business stronger, and the better you can do it, the better it is. Weaknesses, it's hard to admit you have weaknesses, but look at them. Be objective in how you look at your business, and the opportunities and threats, they're going to present themselves. You really don't have any control when an opportunity is going to present itself, when a threat is going to attack your business. Maybe a competitor moves in right across the street from you, and so that's a threat. So what are you going to do about it? So these are things that, as Shane pointed out earlier, look at these things quarterly at least, or at least twice a year, because they're very important to make these things happen. So we want you to, we want you to have a strong, successful business. And we're here to try to help that happen. So that's our bottom line today, I think. So, hey, don't forget, we are on the air day after tomorrow on our political radio show, Business and Politics, and Saturday, 8 to 11 Mountain Time. Click to listen now at kmmsam.com. And that's in the description below as well. So in case you missed that, it's on Shane's name as well. So kmmsam.com. And also, you can listen to any of our past shows or videos at kmmsam.com. Just click on Tom and Shane's podcast, and that'll get you over there. So let's see.
Or just type in TomandShane.com on the search bar, and it'll take you to our shows. So we have lots of opportunity for you to visit us to help accelerate your growth or help you start your business. TomandShane.com, TomandShane.com. Almost like a cartoon.
Almost, yeah. Bruce says, my biggest threat is every teenager with a lawnmower. Competition rules. So staying competitive and keeping rates reasonable and doing quality work. My competition is always telling I don't charge enough. But if I keep my overhead low, no bank loans, and do my own maintenance, then I am in good shape. So, and Linda says, great information. Thank you for that. And we're happy that you folks are enjoying these things, because we enjoy bringing them to you, and we hope that you will enjoy it as well. So say goodbye, Shane.
I will indeed. Be happy, be safe. Thank you for joining us. We very much appreciate you taking the time. I'm certain that you'll learn from the different shows we have, and you should watch all of them because they're as informative as any show else on the internet. Live in the moment. I always do. That's what life is made of. Moments, forever moments in particular, private life. And be happy that you get up in the morning because you get to live to work. You know, when you work for yourself, you're living to work, baby. That's a great feeling. And come home every night with a smile on your face. That's the way you're to see you when you come through that front door.
That's for sure. Hey, all views are welcome here, of course. And if you think it there, we'll say it here. And here are some closing thoughts to give you further information about Tom and Shane. If you're new to our YouTube channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button below the video. Click the notification bell so you'll never miss another podcast. Like us and leave a comment. Tom and Shane are now on Patreon. You can become a supporter of the show for as little as $3 per month. Or if you go higher, there's some special perks only available to you. Your help keeps these small business podcasts coming. You'll find this Patreon link in the description below. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Small Business Podcast.